No, my first deal was there was a lot of money going out. It's very very scary. I was traveling every other month to a seminar. There is hotel rooms, there is food, there is the expense of getting in. I mean, there was a lot that was going out. I just absolutely. I guess my question to me was, why not me?
And we were just having a chat before our internet connection challenges, so we're back. But I just asked you, being a paramedic for over 3 decades, being a successful real estate investor, having technically retired yourself in 2021, like I want to get into the person, Ann. But if you don't mind, just so everybody understands the empire you've built before we get into the person, Ann, like what does the real estate investing business look like today? And what are you doing between, as you call it, playing on the ambulance and building an empire?
What is my Wow, that's a loaded question there, Andrew.
Yeah.
What does my empire look like today? Well, first of all, I'm going to call myself a little bit different. A lot of people get into real estate and they build companies and people, and I a lot of times feel like they've just changed careers. I really put myself. I don't have to get out of bed anymore in the morning to decide if my bills are paid. I have monthly cash flow coming in. Some of my check marks are I only fly first class. It's just what needs to happen. I am traveling. I am seeing the world. I've went to Africa for 2 weeks. I closed 2 deals from Africa. Heading off to Egypt. I hop on a plane every 4 to 6 weeks to go visit my dad out in Arizona. I have a really good friend right now that's sick and needs to go to chemo, and I'm it. I'm taking her off to chemo, and it's only because I can do what I want to do. So my life is my empire is money coming in every first of the month, and some rehabs that I really do just for fun. But just for fun is $70,000 of pocket cash, and I say that I don't really like to do that many of them, and one a quarter is at 70,000 is 280,000. There's a lot of people who can live very comfortably on that. I've been averaging about one a month. So I don't. What's my life look like? I wake up in the morning. I do what I want when I want, unless I'm going to play ambulance, and I enjoy getting up for that too. So.
I thank you for sharing that, Ann, because I think a lot of people I see, they get into real estate for time freedom, for financial freedom, and then they wind up creating themselves a higher paying job.
Yes.
And it drives them, it runs them morning to night. They're chasing the next deal. They're chasing the next thing. They build a wholesale company. They hired the VA team. They got the cold callers going, but they got to make sure they get the deal to make sure things run, and then got to make sure things run so they can get more deals. And it becomes just a very high paying job and frankly a trap. And something I've always loved about every time we hang out together is you have always used this business. And I think there's something everyone listening to this can take away from this. You've always used this business as a freedom mechanism. Freedom to ride the ambulance and help people. Freedom to go see your dad, as you said. Freedom to travel. You travel and have fun. Doing deals from Africa, from everywhere. And I love that about you, because you bypassed what I see so many people do, including myself. I got into this for good reason, and then I created myself a trap for a period of time before I finally ventured to do it the right way. So just a shout out to you for doing what you've done, and really in a short amount of time, only starting in 2017. But take me back. You said at 11 years old you knew you wanted to be a paramedic, and that's where we was when we when we lost Connect a minute ago. So take me back to 11-year-old Ann, like, Mom, I want to be a paramedic when I grow up. Where does that come from? Like, this is is crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go back to like maybe the emergency show, or I really wish I had a great answer for this. But man, I don't. It was just, I always, like you'd see the ambulance, and I mean, it just always intrigued me. I mean, I saw a fire truck too, but that never really intrigued me. It was like, I just thought it was always just really cool that you can you get these people who they get a 911 call, and you go out and you're there, and it's different. It's and my hat's off to every single first responder. I don't care if it's a dispatch, firefighter, paramedic, emergency room personnel. I mean, we bring them in. I mean, everybody, please, hats off. But I just, in my opinion, it was just always you're going in and you have to solve a problem. And it's you, your partner, and God to figure this out. You have your little toolbox, and you have your protocols, and you have your medicines, but it's you've got to think on your feet. You've got to be a people person. You've got to manage outdoor stuff and the snow and the weather, and you've got to deal with people not usually at their best day and something going on. And it was just, I don't know, it was just always, I just thought it was the coolest thing, and I still think it's a cool thing, and I'm still doing it. So.
Yeah, I love that. What was some, like, I think a lot of people listening to this can relate. There's times where maybe family don't support. I know that happened to you in both the paramedic world and in real estate investing. And every time you pushed past and made them proud, no doubt, but you push past sometimes lack of belief or doubt from those around you. Like, walk me through that. How did you do it? And someone listening to this going like, I have this, I'm wanting to get into real estate, or I'm wanting to do this thing, I'm wanting to launch this business, and people around them are going, be careful. Like, how do you work through that?
It's a scam.
Right.
They're going to steal your money. God, you hit the nail on the head. And I am, let me start by, I always knew that I was loved. My parents, my brother, my mother, before she passed, we had always a very good relationship. My dad will tell you from 13 to 23, I was a little bit of a challenge as a child, but I have no jail time, so it's all good. I was, I guess, always a little bit of the outlier, the black sheep of the family, and I was, trust me, at 11 years old in the 70s, coming and telling your parents you want to be a paramedic, and my mom was like, that's not a woman's job. And she was right.
70s, yeah, that's a little different perspective back then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, she was right. I mean, you cannot say that. She was absolutely right. I mean, by mid 80s, when I finally got into school, and by 90s into the paramedic world, we were still venturing into, there was not a female in every fire station. This was a very new concept. So it was always, difficult. My dad required that I had some schooling behind me, and right after I finished some schooling, I went to EMT and went to paramedic, and then invited them to my graduation. That was kind of shocking for them. But, I think as time went on, I knew what I wanted to do, and I think my brother said it best probably, and as much as he hated the idea of me becoming a paramedic, when I got my license, I have to give a lot of kudos to my brother, because I was working in a financial area, and I was making pretty good money. And I had to take probably roughly a 60% pay cut to go play paramedic. And my brother sat me down and said to me, "You get two choices in life." And he said, choice number one, he goes, "You're going to venture out and you're going to go do what you love to do, and you're going to go try it, and you can always fall back on your financials." And he goes, or he goes, "Take the pay cut, go live your dream, because when you're 80 or 90 years old sitting on the, porch and in the rocking chair, do you want to say I should have or I did?" And that was literally everything that it took for me to head out on the ambulance. And they still kind of question me a little bit on why I would have chosen that kind of career when I could have probably made more money younger. And then of course round two came, jumping into real estate. There was nobody happy with that choice. That was it was a scam. They're stealing my money. And it's hard. I don't want it. I mean, some of my biggest doubters all had the same last name as me. And
Well, that's the toughest part, right? Because it comes from love. Like
Yes.
if they want you to fail, then it's easier to be like, they want me to fail. I'm going to just distance. But when they love you and they're giving you bad advice out of love, be careful. Don't go there. They might take your money. One of those, as those things are happening, like how did you work through that?
I think it was stubborn. I'm extremely stubborn, and at that point I think you have two ways to go. One is you dig your heels in and you say, "I am going to do this," or
Yeah.
you throw in the towel and you go back to what you were doing. And I guess my biggest problem is I loved what I was doing, so it wasn't a big deal. But I just wasn't making a lot of money either.
Yeah.
And I like certain things in life, and I like a certain lifestyle, and I love to help people, and extra dollars and cents. I donate a lot to children for food, so I take care of some food banks and stuff. Well, when I'm having trouble putting food on my shelf, if I didn't do anything in real estate, and I just didn't want to be unstable anymore. I always kind of did what I want and fun and had a good time, but man, when the paycheck is coming and you've got 10 or 15 cents in your pocket, it's a hard life. And I wanted to navigate away from. I knew I was going for broke. I knew I could recover because I could always work my regular job. But it was really hard when this real estate thing wasn't so easy for me, and I didn't get a deal for, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months. And I'll tell you, I stopped talking to everybody about it for a little bit. I will tell anybody listening to this podcast, get a good friend, a good buddy, and you've got to have your buddy with you. And I was very fortunate. Can I mention somebody by name? Is that allowed? Sure. Park Daddy. I met.
Shout out Kyle.
Shout out to Kyle. And Kyle knows this. We really, he was having some issues, and I was really having some issues, and we just kind of almost workout buddies. We talk almost every day. We talked almost every day then. When I was heading out to seminars, unfortunately, I feel bad saying it at this point, but I wasn't telling anybody where I was going. Or I was going to an ambulance conference because I couldn't listen to anybody else anymore tell me all the negatives when I wanted this to happen. Does that?
It's powerful.
And honestly, so do you have time for a funny story? Am I allowed a funny story?
Yeah,
Okay.
love a funny story.
So, my brother owns a real estate business. I'm sorry, my brother owns and I'm nervous. He owns a insurance company. So when I started doing all of the rentals and all the lease options and stuff like that as I was getting these. I didn't really want my brother to know, so I was searching for different insurance companies that my brother didn't know about. So as I'm building my empire over here, I finally got to the point. We all talk about our shut up check. Well, I didn't do a shut up check. I think I had 13, and that's a rough number. So I don't know if it was 15. I don't know if it was 10. It was somewhere in that number, and I could look back and figure it out. But I finally decided I need to come clean, and I invited my brother out for dinner. We went to Morton's in Illinois. I had a pocket full of $100 bills, and I had, I don't know, 9 or 13 shut-up checks in front of me. And we went for dinner, and I finally said to him, like, look, I need you to stop, and I need you to know the truth. The truth is that I have been doing this real estate thing. I have a portfolio of rental income coming in that is topping, at that point, I think it was $12,000 a month. I've made really good money. I'm completely out of debt. I'm happy, and I start plopping these checks down left and right. And he's like, wow. And he goes, well, how many of these houses do you still have? And I said, well, 13. He goes, my God, are you insuring them? And I go, well, yes. He goes, how are you insuring them? And he's like, I'm your brother. I own an insurance agency. And I was like, yeah, well, I didn't want you to know about it, so I went around you a little bit. So, but now, yeah, he has the whole portfolio now. But yeah, I mean, that was as far as I took it to get me to where I wanted to go. And then when I was ready to kind of tell everybody, that was the way we went. And I mean, kudos to him. He's always been very supportive and loving of me. I mean, this came from love. This didn't come from I'm trying to see you fail.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Ann, because I think so many people relate whenever they get knocked out of the game. Not by people, like I said, your enemies count you out. That's expected. But people who love you and want you to do well, and when they're given direction. Me and Leo always, when we talk about something and we're talking about advice from people, always say, consider the source, right? Is the person who's giving you advice on that topic where you want to be in that regard? And so it's such a powerful example because people that we love dearly, but maybe ain't where we want to be financially, right? Or haven't experienced the same thing. So shout out to you for keeping it a secret that long. Until you had a dozen or so proofs to share. That was no easy feat, man. You're good at keeping secrets, I guess.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a secret. And again, I had a really strong network, and you included. I mean, you knew me as I was starting out and coming up, and you saw the broke Ann kind of walk in, and you saw the millionaire Ann kind of walk out. And I mean, you saw a lot of those struggles in between. So I had a really strong community, and I have a really strong community. I mean, and that's one of the beautiful things that, that you bring, is that you have a group, and that is a really strong community. And they are also people who love you but encourage you, because they're all people who know that real estate can really be done by everybody. It's your grit, your tenacity, and you getting it done. And when you need to lean on a different family, because not all family is blood, and I leaned on a different family, but I still had my blood family. They just didn't need to know what I was doing completely. And if I would have failed, I would have probably licked my wounds and gone back to them, and they would have still loved me. And that I didn't fail, they're Dad's happier.
Yeah.
But I think a community, and be that what it may. I mean, I think especially people listening. I mean, you have a wonderful up and coming and community that people align with, and getting in and being part of. I think is really important, because I wouldn't have made it. I will be the first ones to tell pretty much everybody, and I believe this is wholeheartedly is from Kyle and I hooking up, and he would have bad days, and I'd be on the phone with him kind of boosting him, and I would have bad days. And it was a great relationship that him and I put together. But there was a whole community, and I'd be remiss to kind of name anybody, and I'm really not going to try because I'll leave somebody out and I'll make somebody. But there was a whole community in different seminars that you see the same people and you have conversations with them, and that is the community that people need to get in with and align with. And sometimes those communities are expensive, but if you're going to really make a go, you gotta bite the bullet, and you gotta either go all in or not.
Remind me later to send you your affiliate check, and I appreciate the promo thing.
Do I get money? Wait a minute. Nobody told me about that.
I think, and as you share that, I think it's so. We don't live in an either or world. We live in an and world. Yeah. And I think that many people, at least myself, it's easy to get, which singular focus has a good vibe to it too. But I think it's easy to get pigeonholed sometimes and thinking, gosh, I got to give up time with the family to get financial freedom. Or I got to give up financial freedom to be able to help people on the paramedic side like I want to. And you've kind of, in some capacity, done it all. You travel, you spend time with those you love, you built a real estate portfolio and empire, and you didn't say, hey, I want a billion-dollar empire. You said, I want to be comfortable and I want to help people. Yes. And I think it's such a beautiful testament, because in real estate, that's why I love real estate, of course, is because you can go all in. You can go do 50 or 100 deals a year, or you can just say, hey, let me just do a deal every few weeks or few months. Like, how much would it change my life to just make $70K extra a year? Some people, like, that surpasses the current income, or $70K a quarter, right? To quote your numbers from earlier. So what's that been like for you, being a paramedic, being so good at that, loving that, but also coming into real estate? Like, do you also get the same type of servitude and excitement out of real estate, or is it a different type of helping people? Like, how does all that fit into Ann's life, and how do you balance it all?
So, again, I've gotten to the point, and thank you to I love being a paramedic. Paramedics don't get paid. Well, we do, but it's just not a lot. And anybody in any type of service industry realizes that you just don't make the kind of money in it. I do a different service in real estate, and anybody involved in real estate is that. And yes, I make money, and I will not apologize to anybody for making money. But I will tell you is that I allow people the American dream. That a lot of times, I mean, you have to beg and grovel banks, and screw them. Who are they? They are a bunch of people, bean counters that have, that report to others, that they get, they tell you what you can and what you cannot do. And you know what? I don't like banks. I don't use banks. And when they say that you can't buy a house on terms, let me show you about 30 different or 50 different examples of how I did and how you can. But I had somebody move in 2 weeks ago. I got a person out of a situation. She was going to lose the house. She was going to lose her credit. It was a big to do. We took the house. I took it subject to. Now, obviously, I did a wraparound mortgage, and she doesn't really understand everything I did for her, but that's a whole different podcast. But another, the person moving in who gave the, non-refundable option deposit and is moving in, she couldn't, she's got oh God, Andrew, I can't remember, $160,000 job. Which sounds like, right. I mean, you know what? She makes great money. She's got 2 kids. She has no support. And you know what? She can't qualify for a loan.
And I think that point, and that's what a lot of people miss, because there has been over the years, of course, there's bad actors in any business, right? There's bad doctors, there's bad real estate investors, there's bad lenders, there's bad everything else. But there's also good.
Yes.
And knowing what we know and doing what we get to do, it's exactly that. Saying, because I often get people asking me, and I'm so glad you brought this up, because they'll ask me, well, gosh, if somebody can afford a house, why don't they just go to the bank and get one?
They can.
Well, just because they make good money doesn't mean that their credit or tax returns or whatever else allows them to be able to just go through traditional routes. And we get to solve that hole in the marketplace and get paid really well for doing it, but also serve the seller and serve the buyer. And how long was it? Did you ever struggle with that internal thing of like, am I taking advantage of people? Or kind of from the get-go, you just seen the opportunity to help and started serving and the money came? Like, what was that journey like?
So I think like my first deal, it was this, my first deal came from Stage, A Stage. And the person that I went and had a conversation with was desperate. And was having people come in and trying to short sale her. You know, she owed, and the house is in Gary, Indiana, beautiful area right by the school. So it's different than some of the other Gary, Indianas. But, and these people were trying to, short sale her, and she's like, I don't want to lose my house, lose my credit, lose my everything. She's like, I'll give you the keys, just make the payments, and we did. And I've never seen somebody so overjoyed to get out of that burden that she couldn't make those payments and she needed a fresh start. I'll roll forward. That was 2018. And I mean, 2 months ago, I ran into the other house that, same situation. This woman, I mean, she had a bigger, nicer, this was a $300,000 house. She can't afford the payments. And some things happen. The kids were supposed to move in and help her, and some issues happen. And I mean, she didn't want to lose her house, lose her credit, lose her everything. And we came in and were able to solve that immediately. And so the first time that I did a deal and I saw the relief happen in her face, I think it just turned me off to any of the negative, like you're trying to steal a house or you're trying to do this. I'm stepping in where somebody else wouldn't.
Yeah.
And saving them.
That's such cool perspective, because, being a paramedic, having a servant's heart, working for years for not a lot of money, and then finding a way to add another way to serve. We get paid in direct accordance to the value we add in the marketplace is something I often say. And I used to struggle with that statement because I think it's kind of an unfair statement. Like for the fact that I think paramedics who saved my life should get paid beautiful money, right? And at the same time, I get that it's the way the marketplace works.
Yes.
And so rather than getting mad at the game or getting frustrated living paycheck to paycheck, you said, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to figure out how to continue serving and adding this value that I believe I'm called to, while also adding another value that I can get paid very handsomely for.
Right.
And I think that's the beauty of what you just explained there. But go ahead.
No, I completely agree, and it's I won't apologize to, and I think sometimes new investors or new people to the real estate, I think sometimes they feel like they need to apologize that I made money, and I refuse to be apologetic for it. I also don't try to take somebody. And what is really nice in the position that I'm in right now, that, if I really find somebody in need, and I did it. I had a house. I found somebody that was in need. He also happened to be a firefighter, and as opposed to making, I could have made $100,000 on the deal. I dropped it down so that he went through a bank and he only got approved for so much, but he really wanted the house, so I sold it to him anyways. For the price that he could pay for it, even though I could have made probably $30,000 more. He's ecstatic. He's got the American dream. I've helped him. I've still made money. I just didn't make as much as I could have. And maybe if I was still broke, I might not have been able to do that deal. But again, unapologetic that I made money, and I'm unapologetic that if I want to make less money because that's what I want to do, then that's what I'm going to do.
It's something that you said there because we live in a culture, again, like I said, in any market there's ever been, there's bad actors somewhere show up, and I get that. But at the same time, selling is serving.
Yes.
If you believe in what you're selling, you have a moral and ethical obligation to sell it. And, often being unapologetic in that, I'll go to sometimes sell a house and somebody say, what did you pay for it? I'll say, a lot less than I'm asking,
Right.
because it is a for-profit business.
Right.
There's what we call expenses. And so when you start to understand business and step in what I call stepping into the flow of money, it can change your life in a relatively short amount of time. But how long was it, Ann, from the time you was like, I'm going to get into this real estate thing, to the time that you started to see a turning of the tide? Because some people I've seen go for months and then finally succeed. Some I've seen, a couple weeks in, get their first contract. Like, what was that timeline for you?
No, my first deal was 6+ months. And so, there was a lot of money going out, and it's scary.
Yeah.
But it's very, very scary. Because again, there was no, I was traveling every other month to a seminar. There is hotel rooms, there is food, there is the expense of getting in there. I mean, there was a lot that was going out. I just absolutely, I guess my question to me was, why not me? And
That's
I
good.
think that was very powerful, because I was seeing a lot of people get very, very rich doing this, and all I could think is, why not me? And then I got to the point of, and I had a lot of money in, and at one particular point, I was going to tap out. I was going to call it, and this is a scam. Everybody was right. I suck. I can't make phone calls. Blah blah blah. And I mean, it was put it all on me. Whatever. And it was at that point, I sat down with myself and said, self, why not me? Why can everybody
Wow.
else do this, and why can I not? And from that time forward, my first deal, my first flip, I netted 37,000, which was a pretty big flip. I mean, I was doing stuff for 5 and 10,000, but it was like, why not me? But it took till I really turned the corner. I'm going to say at least a year, maybe a little bit longer than that. And then once I turned the corner, it was like Niagara Falls opened.
I love that.
It was between terms deals and people. I mean, it was like I opened my mouth. I started getting deals. I was no longer afraid, and I started asking the question of, why not me? Of course, I can do this. I started going out and making a big mess, and I had people like you help me. So when I had, and your brother too. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention him or not, but
Of course.
he's taken a few phone calls from me. When I'm screwing everything up, and
Shout out to Aaron. Aaron is amazing.
yeah, Aaron was always amazing. I mean, it was, and then once I got that attitude, it just as it started flowing, it became a new world. And then the freedom of getting out of debt,
Yeah.
and then very quickly after out of debt came 6 figures to 7 figures. And that was when I realized, stop, you're doing too much. Do not make another job for yourself.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that perspective. Question for you. Somebody's hearing this. They're new to the business. Maybe they recently started. Maybe they haven't got their first deal yet. They're feeling that of like, I was stupid to even try this. Why did I think this would work for me? Or maybe they got a deal or two, but they're in that loop where it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm just having trouble getting off the ground. What's your word of wisdom to them? What's the thing that you could do? You're like, this just changes things. Is it a mindset? Is it a habit? What's the thing?
My theme song here is, and I wrote a chapter for a book with Caesar.
Yeah.
And I wrote a chapter in it, and my chapter, the title is "Be Too Stubborn to Quit."
I like that.
And I truly,
Available on Amazon for 99 cents, right?
I think that deal is over on the
Oh.
99-cent part. I think they've upped the price on that. That was just the opening day, but I really don't even know what the price of the book is. How about that? See me
Fair
personally,
enough.
and I'll hook you up with one and find out the price. You, Andrew, I will sign one when I see it and give it to you free because you've been such a blessed mentor in my life.
I love you too, and I look forward to that.
But I think be too stubborn to quit. I really, and go all in.
Yeah.
Don't, if you're going to do it, and just be too stubborn to quit. Why me? Why not me?
Good. I like that. I have two last questions for you.
Okay.
And it's so fun hanging out with you, Ann.
I miss you. I can't, I'm hoping to see you next week, but we'll see how
Yes.
that goes. It's going to be short notice if I'm going to show up, but I'm hoping to.
I would love that. I would love that. My first question for you, what does success mean to you? If you had to quantify it in 2 or 3 sentences, what is success to Ann Brandl?
I do what I want when I want. Freedom.
That's good. I like that because I think that's really what it is, right? You give back, you change other lives, and you enjoy yours.
And I want a caveat on that is that I'm clear on what I want. I don't want my own jet. I don't want my own empire, and I don't want buildings with my name on them. I want to see the world. I want to help. I want to feed children. I want to be able to do. I'm clear on my wants. So, and I know that we talk a lot about freedom numbers, and
Yeah.
go see Andrew in class. He'll explain freedom numbers and everything. But be clear on that. And I know people get wrapped up in sometimes like freedom numbers of I need 50,000 a month, and I'm like, really? Why? I'm like, when you get your credit cards paid off, how much money do you really need, and what do you really want? I mean, do you really want the $50 million mansion, or are you good with $1 million house?
Yeah.
And what does $1 million house cost? And even if you need to make payments on it, how much do you really need to come in to put food down, live your lifestyle that you want to live? And by God, if that's planes and whatever, then get busy. But
Yeah.
if I want to drive a $100,000 car and live in a $1 million house, my $20,000 a month is okay.
Good perspective. Thank you for that. And I would often say chunk it down because I think it is easy to get pie in the sky theory. Man, I want this or I want that, and we never actually put it to paper. Well, how much does this cost, and what is the things I need to do to get there? So
Right.
I love that perspective. Last question. How do people reach you?
How do people reach me?
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Where are you at?
Andrew, I'm old. Tick who?
You aren't old. You're a young lady.
What is Instagram? I am joking. I know what these things are. I don't do any of that. If anybody wants to reach me, just send me an email. How about that? We can go that
Perfect.
way.
What's your email?
It is A Brandl, BRANDL, the number 2 at yahoo.com.
And that is her email. That's where we sent her the link for this very lesson here.
That is my email. For whatever reason, I have noticed some things go into spam, so I do actually look at spam before I do mass delete. So if it does take me a little bit, or if I miss something or something like that, please don't think that I'm ignoring you. Just send me another email. I hesitate to give out my cell phone number, but
email's good enough.
Email's
if
good
somebody
enough.
needs to talk to you on your cell phone, they'll find you on Facebook or email.
I do have a
All right.
Facebook. Same. That's my name, Ann Brandl. It's there, and you can hit me up on Facebook as well.
And will they get to meet Oliver the pig?
They can meet Oliver the pig. Anybody who wants to come on by, But if you give me any sort of I'm going to eat Oliver the pig or anything like that, then you are no longer welcome to meet Oliver. Oliver is my
You'd be
buddy.
banned from Ann's ranch.
Ann's rescue ranch. They're all rescues. Everything I have is a rescue.
And just so you guys know context, Oliver, the pot-bellied pig, right?
No, Oliver is a hog. He's about 700 pounds, just so that.
Oh my goodness. That's what I was looking for. 700 pounds. I thought you said 700, but I didn't want to quote that and be wrong. So
Yeah, no,
Oliver's a big pig.
He is a giant boy, and he's too old, I think, to eat anymore, but he is my farm pet.
So Ann wants to help you hit your freedom numbers so you can also wrestle the pigs if you want to.
It's expensive to
and
feed
play
all these
paramedic.
animals.
That's right. Thank you to everybody listening. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being here. I'm going to end this recording, and we'll chat for the next 2 minutes as we wrap up.
You got it.